morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. I'm Brian. If you're new here, this is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world. It's also the longest running radio show in Florida. We're here 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time, weekday mornings. So if you're new here, welcome, subscribe. 954-753-8080. Good morning, Susan.
At the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855 3782 1-855 FLA 3782.
Are you suffering from decreasing energy, poor libido, weight gain, a foggy mind, and unsatisfactory sex life, or any of the symptoms of the aging process? Good news, folks.
Hey, guys.
These processes are completely reversible. With his 20 years of experience in age management medicine, Dr. Matez can offer safe, effective protocols that will work for everyone. The Boca Raton Center for Age Management offers hormone replacement therapies,
good morning,
therapies, peptide therapies, and a host of other cutting-edge modalities that rejuvenate the human body and give you back the vigor of youth. If you want to get back to feeling good, looking good, and functioning well,
yeah, it's raining here too.
At the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490. Or visit their website at brc4am.com. That's brc4am.com for the Boca Raton Center for Age Management.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Cain Show. To call the show toll free, dial
Yes.
1-888-GO-CAIN 1 and
all right, welcome, one and all. Yes, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It's Friday, and of course, this is the most important Steve Cain show of the week. Why is that? Right? Why is that? Well, because we're not just on the air live, morning 6 until 9 a.m. We have an overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week from midnight till 6 a.m. And the Friday show is our overnight rebroadcast all weekend long on our 4 radio stations and all the other platforms that carry this program with or without our knowledge. A lot of places carry this show and don't tell us, and I hear from people and find out things or come across it myself. Very strange. But yeah, we broadcast live on 4 radio stations, also overnights, 3 FMs, and of course our AM, which would be AM 1470, 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and 103.9 FM. And just on our radio stations, I'm not including iHeartRadio, TuneIn, those free apps. I'm not including YouTube Live and all the other places that carry this program. Just on those 4 radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Cain Show will air a total of 35 times before we return live. I'm not kidding, 35 times before we return live Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best. And they're all great shows, aren't they? So welcome. If you're new here, this is the most pro-Donald Trump broadcast anywhere on the radio in the world. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. There's a new Quinnipiac poll that has Joe Biden up double digits, 15 points. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit and share with you how that happened. That's coming up in a bit. And someone in the YouTube Live chat room had just mentioned a few minutes ago that Mary Trump has sold 950,000 copies of her book. So can we round that up to 1 million? So she sold 1 million copies of her book. Is this the best-selling book of the 21st century? Is it really 900? Are they really telling us that it sold 9? Let me look that up. Is that number right? I shouldn't trust people in the chat room. You never know. No, you never know. Hold on. How many books has Mary Trump? I think I saw that number myself. Let's see here. How many books has Mary Trump sold? Let's just Google that and see what comes up. Let's see here. Okay, Mary Trump's books, CNN. Oh, yes, nothing like the credible source of CNN. Mary Trump's tell-all book has sold a staggering 950,000 copies by the end of its first day on sale. The figure includes pre-sales as well as ebooks, audiobooks. It's a new record for Simon & Schuster. The book, Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. What, is Mary Trump in the family of Adolf Hitler? What does she mean, the most dangerous man? The book went on sale. Let's see, what is the date of this article? The 17th. So the book went on sale Tuesday and portrays President Trump in an unflattering light. That's right. That's right. So her book sold 950,000 copies. John Bolton's book sold 780,000 copies. Now, you know what I wonder about this? Then about this, no, I don't know, because we can only depend on Simon & Schuster. When you buy books these days like this, how do you buy them? What do you do? You buy them mostly on ebook, right? Kindle? I use Apple Books. When I buy a book, I do something usually, and I think most of you do this too. What do you do when you buy an ebook? What do you do? Well, let me rephrase that. What do you do before you buy an ebook? See, I'm wondering how they come to these numbers. 90% of the time, maybe even more, when I buy an ebook, and I don't buy very many ebooks. I like books that I can hold in my hand mostly, but I do buy ebooks. But before I buy an ebook, I do something. What do you, maybe, and many of you probably do the same. So let me rephrase the question. What do you do? I'm not going to troll for calls for an hour. I was listening to a show yesterday. Would you send your kids back to school? No. All right, line 3. Would you send your kids back to school? Oh my gosh. That show should be called Time Killing. But anyway, before you buy an ebook, Kindle, Apple Book, what do you typically do before you buy it? When I tell you, you'll say, yeah, you're right. I didn't really think about that. You download the free sample, don't you? And you read the free sample. And the free sample, depending on the size of the book, it can be pretty long, can't it? I have so many free samples in my Apple Books library. Oh my goodness. I don't buy the book most of the time. I download the free sample, which gives me sometimes multiple chapters, depending on the length of the book. And then maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I won't. Probably won't. Right? How many of you, before you buy an ebook, download the free sample first? I think almost everyone, right? So what I'm wondering with this 950,000 number, do they include free downloads in that? I don't know. I don't know. And of course, CNN doesn't want to ask because they want to have as inflated of a number as possible. But I just have a suspicion that they count the free downloads on book sales. Also, I remember during the 2016 campaign, I heard stories. This story actually happened, I want to say with Mark Levin, but I may be wrong. But it happened with one of the conservative radio hosts. The Never Trumpers were working on getting all the national conservative radio hosts on the Never Trumper wagon. And there was talk about mass purchases made of the talk show host books because that goes into their pocket to try to help them get on board. So when they say 950,000 books sold, there's a lot of information there that CNN wouldn't bother to ask because they got a narrative. One, does it include the free sample download you get at the beginning of the book, which I'm thinking it does, but I don't know. And also, are these individual sales or are these some mass sales? Can't be done by bookstores because bookstores are mostly closed, but is it massive sales that are made to, is like an individual buying 5,000 books, or is an organization buying 20,000 books? You know, the phony polls, which we're going to talk about a little later, book sales are used as a push poll too. And the 950,000 books sold, or the 780,000 of Bolton, right away, boom, out the box. Do you ever wonder how that happens? You know, people see that number, oh my goodness, almost 1 million people, they hate Trump, they want to know. There's something fishy about these numbers, okay? Something very fishy about these numbers. So I thought I would throw that out there. Your thoughts on that? I did see Mary Trump on Rachel Maddow. I'm going to play one clip, and I find her not to be credible. It's not just because I love President Trump. I don't find her to be credible at all. And Rachel didn't ask the follow-ups. Don't go through all this as the show goes on. And since it's Friday, hey, you know, Tony Robbins, one of his secrets of success. You know what one of his secrets of success is? I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. Big Tony Robbins fan. But one of his secrets is find someone that is successful that you want to be successful at and copy them. So I'll do a little copycat. We'll keep it open phone Friday a little bit, somewhat, as long as it's relevant. Right? I don't want to hear talks about, you know, the best flea treatment for my dog or something like that. But I think we'll keep it open phones on this Friday as long as it is relevant to the conversation as well. All right, our number toll free 1-888 go Cain 1 888-465-2631 888-465-2631. Let's take a break. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Any lab tests now in Boca and Coral Springs are the best labs to go to when you need quick and affordable lab work that's private and accurate. Don't go to those other labs where you have to wait hours just to be seen by an unfriendly lab tech. Everything at any lab test now in Boca and Coral Springs is first class. The labs are super clean. The techs highly skilled and professional. Plus their prices are the lowest you will find. Guaranteed. If your time is valuable, and I know it is, you cannot wait around to get your lab work. Any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs are the places you need to go. You will be seen quickly with no appointment, no doctor's order or prescription necessary. In and out in 15 minutes or less. And they're always friendly and courteous. When you go to any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs, you are putting your health care in your own hands. You are in control. They have every test you need, whether it's a blood test.
By the way, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Share the feed on all of your social media, right? If you could share the YouTube Live on your Twitter with whatever great hashtags you can think of, and your Facebook, that'd be awesome. Bring your friends over.
On the east side of State Road 7. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca. And any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Cain Show.
Listen to The Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, welcome back, guys. Brian Craig here with you. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show. Oh, unrelated to everything, I have found a YouTube channel that I am like becoming addicted to. And some of you may know of this channel. Professor of Rock. Oh man. You know, I'm at the point in my life now where all the music that I love and grew up with is now fallen into the oldies category. You know, it's just not it. But anyway, Professor of Rock, I just tell you real quick, you guys. Professor of Rock is an incredible YouTube channel, and he interviews all the musicians and bands that I grew up with from the 80s, some 70s too, about their greatest songs and their greatest albums, and it is just incredible. I saw him. I was watching an interview with Glenn Fry on someone else's show, and from the Eagles, who I had forgotten had passed away. And then you know how you get all those suggestions on YouTube, and then some other things come up, and some other things come up, and I found this guy, Professor of Rock. So just check. If you love music, don't do it till 9 o'clock when I'm off the air, all right? But if you love music of the 80s, a little bit of the 70s, I mean, like he had the entire band at Toto and talked to them about how they wrote Africa, which was amazing. I mean, it's just good stuff, man, good stuff. All right, anyway, just thought I'd give a little plug there. Professor of Rock on YouTube. Now for a real plug, and this is a great one, and it's MyPillow. Great sponsor of this program. Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, huge supporter of President Trump. He works for the campaign, right, and a great sponsor of this program. There is an incredible deal. They ran out of them because they were so popular for a while, and they are back, and that's the MyPillow towel set. In fact, my wife has taken advantage of this and ordered this. There's an incredible deal at MyPillow.com. When you use the promo code Cain at checkout, Kane, buy one set of MyPillow towels, get a second set free. But you got to use the promo code Cain at checkout. They come in 7 different colors. Kane at checkout. In fact, there's a lot of great specials. All the specials at MyPillow.com. No matter what it says, you can take advantage of with the promo code Cain. So the MyPillow towel sets back in stock. Buy one set of MyPillow towel sets, get a second set free when you use the promo code Cain. I got to tell my wife to order these. They have the beach towels and blankets. I like to use beach towels when I get out of the shower. You know, do any of you like to use beach towels when you get out of the shower? I like them. They're big. And when you use the promo code Cain, the MyPillow beach towels, 35% off when you use the promo code Cain at checkout. Kane. All right, guys. So, so Mary Trump, I'm very suspicious of these 950,000 books sold. I mean, come on. Come on. You know, and they want that story out there because people hear that number like, oh my goodness, things are just going so much against Trump. We'll get to the new Quinnipiac in just a bit. But I wanted to play this. Mary Trump was on with Rachel Maddow. Let me see where I got the clip here. Hold on a second here. I got so many clips. Okay. I'm not going to intro this. I'm just going to play it in its entirety, and then we'll talk about it when it's over. This is Rachel Maddow. She's interviewing Mary Trump. And let me ask you guys this question. I keep, and if somebody has some info on this, let me know. I keep hearing references online that Mary Trump has never met President Trump. That doesn't sound possible. But anyway, this is Rachel Maddow with Mary Trump. I'll just play it, and then we'll talk about it after.
A stunning new accusation from President Trump's niece, Mary Trump, telling MSNBC's Rachel Maddow she's heard the president use anti-Semitic slurs and the N-word.
I have to press you on it a little bit, just to ask if the president...
I love how Rachel Maddow acts as if she's uncomfortable asking if she's heard the president use negative racial language. I have to press you. It's like she doesn't want to. Yeah, give me a break.
Heard the president use anti-Semitic slurs and the N-word.
I have to press you on it a little bit, just to ask if the president, if your uncle was an exception to that in your family, or if you ever heard him express either these anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that. Was it? Or do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too? Oh, yeah, of course I did.
Okay, now this next part, this is, I guess I lied. I can't listen to Rachel Maddow's show for 6 seconds, can't I? But now listen after Mary Trump says this, listen to the dramatic pause of Rachel Maddow.
Or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that? Was it, or do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too? Oh, yeah, of course I did. And I don't think that should surprise anybody given how virulently racist he is today.
Dramatic pause.
Have you heard the president use the N-word? Yeah.
Dramatic pause too.
And anti-Semitic slurs specifically? Yes.
In the past.
Oh my goodness. What's the follow-up question that was not asked to that? Do you guys know? I got a lot of questions today. The question you ask when someone says that is, can you give an example of when you heard the president use the N-word? What did he say? What was he talking about? Who was he referencing? And when he said the anti-Semitic comments, can you? What was the context of that? Can you tell us what he said? I don't expect you to use the offensive words. Please insert N-word where the president used the full word. Please, marry Trump. And Rachel Maddow didn't ask that. And I'll tell you, I am a very good lie detector. And Mary Trump's credibility there is sorely lacking. I mean, I don't believe a damn word of what she said. You know, there's only been one other person who said they've heard the president use the N-word, and that was Tom Arnold. And so two people that don't like him, that have a personal beef with him, that he's not buddy with, that he's not close with, that he's not tight with, that's not in his inner circle ever and never have been. These are the only two people that ever heard him use anti-Semitic language or the N-word. Come on. No, I don't believe it. She doesn't look credible. She's as credible as Rachel Maddow, who looks upset to finally learn and confirm that the president has said these terrible things. She should get an Emmy nomination for that dramatic pause that she did after those comments were made, Rachel Maddow. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I don't believe 950,000 books were sold organically of Mary Trump. I don't believe that. I do believe people may download the free download portion of it. I download the free downloads of so many books, and I'm telling you, they count that. They gotta count that. If the number is truly real. You know, we're in a tough fight. You know, I was watching Neil Cavuto yesterday, and I can't stand Neil Cavuto. You know, when he was out for a few months a couple years back because he had a heart. Did he have heart surgery? And I've known a few guys that have had bypass. Famous guys had him recently. Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks. And when you see these guys come back from heart bypass, they're vegans. They've lost 150 pounds. They're skinny little things like they look like Karen Carpenter. And I was expecting Cavuto to come back and look like a new man. And he's as big as ever. I think he put on weight, you know. And the thing I don't like about Cavuto is it's not just that he trashes Trump. He's so smug about it. But I did turn on his show yesterday, and I saw very disturbing video, and that was the bridge attack on New York City police officers. Luckily, they've gotten this woman. I guess she was beating the cops. Was that with a broomstick? What was that with? And they beat a New York City police lieutenant, a New York City police sergeant, and even the chief himself got involved, and they assaulted the police chief of New York City, and that scared the living crap out of me. And Cavuto didn't seem too upset about it for some reason. But you know what? When I said, did you guys see that video? That was so disturbing. Now, I read this morning that they did get the person that had the stick. Was that a broomstick? And there was a story this morning that those sticks were dropped off by someone in a truck and handed out to people. When you see someone beat, it's one thing to just attack a cop, but a New York City anyone in a white shirt, right? A lieutenant, a sergeant, and the chief themselves, that's frightening to me. Who the hell would go to New York City right now? It truly is. Dan Bongino said this a week or two ago. It's Snake Plissken's New York now, which of course, that's Kurt Russell's character in Escape from New York. That's frightening. And you know what's very frightening to me about this is you how justified the people attacking police officers are. You know, there's been times in our history where there have been violent demonstrations and people were fighting against an injustice. But what are they fighting against now? Right? The cops in the George Floyd case have been arrested and charged with serious crimes. The main cop, he'll go away forever. There were the arrest of the police officers in the Atlanta shooting of Brooks. That happened. What's the injustice that they're rising up against? And I got to tell you, the police chief, when he was on with Cavuto, was talking about the silent majority out there that stand with cops. When people see this violence, and what happened with the police, the attack on the New York City Police Lieutenant Sergeant in Chief himself, in the daytime, these things have to scare the living hell out of people. Right? Around the country. Does that not scare you? What must it be like for a police officer to wake up and have to report to duty in the morning in New York City? Oh my goodness. Would you want to do it? It's frightening. You know, and you know, part of what the police have is the public have either fear or respect, or sometimes both of them. And these people in New York City have no respect for the police any longer, and they're no longer afraid of the police. And they feel justified in attacking the police. There's nothing more frightening than that. If I were in New York City and I would get the hell out of there. I would not be in New York City right now. I would not be in New York City right now. Really terrible. It's really terrible. And, you know, this year has been a real rough year. But, you know, when you see this violence in the American cities and this violence against the police officers with the chief and the sergeant and the lieutenant in New York, I think, and now maybe I'm wrong about this. You guys can let me know what you guys think. But I think most people in this country, it scares the hell out of them. They don't approve of it. And they blame the Democrats. The Democrats are behind this. And everyone knows it. They have stirred up this violence all over the country. Now, that doesn't mean that every little incident is organized by the Democrats. They just have to get the ball rolling, and then people go rogue and do their own thing. But everything that is going on so far as violence in this country has been stirred up by Democrats, approved by Democrats, endorsed by Democrats. I mean, look at this mayor. Look at de Blasio. You know, here's de Blasio bragging that the jails are empty. And then you see what's going on the streets. And by the way, this was sick. This woman that attacked and beat the cops. They got her, they arrested her, and she's out already with no bail because of the no bail in New York. What the heck? They couldn't come in with some state charge against that person to hold them? You're going to let someone beat a New York City police lieutenant and sergeant on television worldwide, and you let them out without bail? What kind of message does that send? Insanity, yeah. Insanity doesn't even begin to describe it. It's anarchy. New York City is in a state of anarchy right now. And the Democrats are behind it. It's not just New York. It's all over the country. And, you know, with all these polls, with Biden with double-digit leads and everything, see, everything they're doing is to try to, they're planning on stealing the election, people, okay? That's what this voting at home mail-in business is all about. So all these other stories, the fake polls, the fake book sales, the attacks on police around the country and all these other things are to fit the false narrative of Biden being popular. If they can steal it, everything that's going on now will say, look, people were fed up. They were rioting in the streets. They were buying 950,000 copies in a couple of days of Mary Trump's book. You understand what all of this is just to back up the lie that Joe Biden is popular and is in a double-digit lead, that we're in chaos under President Trump. You think it's just a coincidence that all this violence is happening in Democrat towns? You don't see it happening in Republican country anywhere. Even that St. Louis couple in front of their mansion, that's a Democrat town. All right, let's take our break. It's 33 minutes after 6. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You've heard Steve Cain talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Cain on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor...
Good morning, everyone. Pick up the phone and call. I'm bringing up all this stuff. Let's discuss. By the way, everyone, some people gave some super chats yesterday. If I didn't get to thank you for the super chats yesterday. I do appreciate that. I also have a Patreon. If you want to support my Patreon, there's a link in the description of my YouTube videos. Become a Patreon supporter. A lot of great benefits of that.
Each way. Okay, the man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pin in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Cain listeners, you have one.
This story with Chuck Woolery is a strange one.
Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is just top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Steve Cain Show. Hey. Steve Cain Show. Steve Cain Show. Yeah, what's your name?
Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens
Hold on.
to Coral Gables. Call 241-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And we announced yesterday we are building a remote studio at Steve's house. And do you know what the most difficult thing to buy these days? Do you know what it is? The most difficult thing to buy, laptop computers. I'm looking for a new laptop for Steve's studio at home. And every laptop I've picked out, sold out, not available, sold out, not available. And, of course, that's because of how well the economy is doing, And that's the way it is. All right, let's go to Richie the bus driver. Richie, good morning. Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
This niece of Trump, President Trump,
Yeah.
a lady, a psychologist,
What'd you say, a psychotic? A psychotic?
Well, she's a psychotic.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't have a license in the state of New York, so I don't know. She's a phony, okay? And she's sour grapes because her father was an alcoholic. And the president basically loved her father, but I think she's upset that the father took a different direction and she didn't get the money that the...
Okay, the thing with the Trump niece, there's a few things in play here, okay? Now, from my personal experience, not everyone, but most people that wind their way up in the field of psychology or psychiatry are people that have been dealing with mental illness their entire life, and that's what drove them into the field. Okay, it's not always true. Okay, there's a lot of exceptions to this. Don't misunderstand me. Like Dr. Janae Lamaski, who's my therapist. I don't people think I'm talking about her, because I'm not. But there is a high percentage, 80% or more, especially psychologists, that have spent their entire life in therapy dealing with mental. Nothing's wrong with that, but she's dealing with a lot of issues. Second, what I was talking about with her from the very beginning, Mary Trump, is that her wing of the family got passed over. Like right now, the Queen of England, right? She wasn't supposed to be the sovereign. Her uncle was, and he abdicated, right? The one that was the Nazi lover. And a whole area of the family got sidetracked because of that. That's what happened in the Trump family. Her father was the older brother who had movie star looks that he did not pass on to his child, obviously, but who Trump loved, didn't want the business. He had an alcohol addiction issue, passed away, and Mary Trump feels left out. She should be the royal family, not this wing. This wing of it isn't supposed to be leading everything, and she's got a lot of bitterness towards them about that.
But the thing about this is the timing of the book. The thing about this is how, listen, the other day, I watched Right Side Broadcasting, and I watched the
Oh, they're great. Right Side Broadcasting is spectacular. I watch them all the time.
The press conference was going on, okay? And before our wonderful press lady came out, they were colluding on how to attack. They were all putting their feet into the questions they were going to ask her, that they were colluding. This is such a...
Yeah.
Listen, New York City is a perfect example. I've worked this out before, and sometimes you say I go overboard and I say too much. Man, this is about the melon in your skin.
What is this, Nick Carter on the line? Or Nick Cannon, I should say. Not Nick Carter, that's somebody else. Nick Cannon.
Says is believed by all these people.
Yeah, and Fox has stood by Nick Cannon. They're going to keep him hosting his show on Fox.
About a black man?
Well, this incident of the violence against the New York City police chief, lieutenant, and sergeant. There is nothing more dangerous, in my opinion, than the type of person that attacks police or uses a weapon against police. Because if they're not afraid of the police, what are they going to do to me or you? What are they going to do to someone? That they're the most dangerous of all.
They'll do. A lady was knocked over and with a baby carriage yesterday in the Bronx.
Yeah.
The two days before that, 3 days before, senior citizens in their 70s were stabbed with a...
Yeah. Well, did you see the video of the police lieutenant and sergeant getting the crap beat out of them by that lady? And then the chief got his head bashed in too? A cane? Was it a cane? I thought it might be a broomstick. Oh, I thought maybe... Okay.
But a cane could crack your head open just the same thing.
Canes are pretty strong. They hold up the weight of a person. That should be a hate crime because they were targeted because they're police officers, and to let that person out with no bail, that person's free. What message does it send when someone beats the crap out of two white shirt New York City police supervisors and they're out on no bail? What's to stop them from doing it again?
Yeah, I don't want to go all over the place, but you know who Caitlin Beck?
No. Oh, yeah, she's that girl that likes to go to the college with the rifle. Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
She go to the college with the rifle. When she goes to colleges, and she goes right into the mix. And if people out there saw what the colleges are producing, all these people that are kneeling with... So I'm talking about white people that are...
Yeah.
United States, anti-Semitic, Hitler, and every other damn thing. I mean, and the news...
Do you really believe that 950,000 people bought Mary Trump's book. Come on. That number is insane.
This is such a thing. When the president the other day got up, that guy yesterday, the news conference got up and said, should the president be making a speech like that?
Yes, he should.
He cut away from the president of the United States. The call they had because they let Biden do the same damn thing that same afternoon for about an hour. Biden was chopping at Trump, and it was supposed to be a new policy speech, but
Listen, he's the president of the United States. That's his house, and he can do whatever the hell he wants. He didn't do it inside the Oval Office. He was outside of his house, the White House, okay? And he's not going to be given the keys in January to Biden.
Got to get his message out because he's, excuse me, I don't know if I can say that, the word bastard. Can I say that on the radio?
Who's a bastard?
The media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Will not they hate him, so this is the perfect storm. The polls are screwed up. It's all crap.
Oh, yeah.
Open up their eyes. This is a war between us and them, and we're at war in this country right now. And I'm going to say, Mark Levin basically said something yesterday was very true. The cities of not just New York, Philadelphia, all these cities have actually succeeded from the union. They haven't announced it, but they are not.
Well, I know what he's saying, but what you have, this is what's happened in America's major cities, okay, that we're seeing this in. You're seeing radical activists like AOC and others have made their way up into positions of power and authority, which has never happened before. You know, there have been people that have been high profile in political parties that have made their way into government. But what we have now, the Squad's the textbook example of this. You have hardcore left-wing radical activists that are running major cities and in Congress, and that's a big change. And the Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party of 5 years ago. It's not. This is not the same Democrat Party. And I'll tell you this: Barack Obama, if President Obama were a responsible person, he would come out publicly, speak to the masses, and when in particular African Americans, and ask them to stop this violence. You know, this is not the way to do it. Go to the ballot box. Don't do this. But he hasn't done that yet, and he never will. Why is that?
I'll tell you, why is that? Because he's the reason this is happening. Okay, he is the reason. He was a smart man. He knew he couldn't do this.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, Richie. But if I could gain some serious respect for Barack Obama if he's doing Zoom calls with Biden. If President Obama came out and called on the violence to stop, it would mean something.
Want that? He's an organizer. This is his.
Yeah, community organizer. Yeah.
All over the world, apologizing for the United States because he really believes in his heart that this is a bad country from the.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Richie. Got to run. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CAIN-1. We'll be right back.
From decreasing energy, poor libido, weight gain, a foggy mind, an unsatisfactory sex life, or any of the symptoms of the aging process? Good news, folks. These processes are completely reversible. With his 20 years of experience in age management medicine, Dr. Matez can offer safe, effective protocols that will work for everyone. The Boca Raton Center for Age Management offers hormone replacement therapies, intravenous therapies, peptide therapies, and a host of other cutting-edge modalities that rejuvenate the human body and give you back the vigor of youth. If you want to get back to feeling good, looking good, and functioning well, call Dr. Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490. Or visit their website at brc4am.com. That's brc4am.com for the Boca Raton Center for Age Management.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof, all with people that are experienced and show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Cain Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Cain sent you.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right. You know, we all knew when President Trump won that they weren't going to give him a free ride. But did you think it would be this bad? Did you really? You know, this story with Chuck Woolery. Have you guys heard what happened to Chuck Woolery? Now, a lot of you may not know, Chuck Woolery, who's most famous for hosting Love Connection. I used to love Love Connection. I really did. And he was the original host of The Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak. And for several years now, he's had a conservative podcast. I follow him on Twitter. And I know a lot of you do. He got retweeted by the president the other day. And he's gone dark now and has deleted his social media. This is very strange. This is CNN. Former game show host Chuck Woolery's son has COVID-19, a spokesperson for Woolery said Thursday. Chuck's son is fine and he's asymptomatic. Okay. Chuck Woolery made news late Sunday. This all happened this week. Okay, so late Sunday, Chuck Woolery made news late Sunday when President Donald Trump retweeted Chuck Woolery saying everyone is lying about COVID-19. And this is what Chuck Woolery tweeted that the president retweeted. The most outrageous lies are the ones about COVID-19. Everyone is lying, Woolery said in that tweet. The CDC, media, Democrats, our doctors, not all but most, that we are told to trust. I think it's all about the election and keeping the economy from coming back, which is about the election. I'm sick of it, his tweet said. Chuck Woolery deactivated his Twitter account Wednesday. In his last posted tweet, Chuck Woolery tweeted this: COVID-19 is real and it is here. My son tested positive for the virus and I feel for those suffering and especially for those who have lost loved ones, Chuck Woolery said in a tweet Monday morning. Speaking on Blunt Force Truth, the right-wing political podcast he co-hosts, Chuck Woolery said he never said COVID was a hoax, but it was the only way his critics could really twist and use it against me. There's nowhere I used hoax or it's not real or anything like that. I just said we've been lied to, Chuck Woolery said. My son has it, so hopefully he's fine. The podcast was released Thursday. It's not clear if it was recorded. Chuck Woolery says it was an honor to have the president retweet him, and all of this goes on. Chuck Woolery wanted a break from social media, so he deactivated his Twitter account. Chuck Woolery's account is not gone. He's just taking a break from the abuse he has received from thousands of intolerant people who purposefully misled people on his statement, including the media, as a spokesperson. Something happened with Chuck Woolery other than his son testing positive for COVID-19. His son has no symptoms. So he's not sick. He's tested positive, but he's not sick. When I first heard the story, I thought his son must be really, really deathly ill, and now we find out no symptoms. Okay, so he's okay. Something happened with Chuck Woolery that involved the president retweeting him. The president retweeted him. You know, Chuck Woolery has kind of been an under-the-radar kind of conservative. He's had this conservative podcast, Blunt Force Truth. I've listened to it. He's very good. I follow him on Twitter. He's very relevant. He is very conservative, Chuck Woolery. And he's kind of like James Woods on Twitter. But he hasn't been very well known, Chuck Woolery, as a conservative voice. And then he got retweeted. And then they went after him. Something happened. I don't know what it is. I'm not speculating. I'm not, but something happened because the president retweeted him that got him to leave social media. And that's what the left do. That's the Bill O'Reilly calls Twitter the Twitter mob. It is a mob with torches and pitchforks. And we'll find out today if if his podcast is timely. Is he gonna upload a new podcast today? And is it timely, or is it generic? Was it pre-recorded? Will it be a podcast after him deactivating his social media? I don't know. We'll find out, and I'll tune in for it today, and you all should too. And I hope that Chuck Woolery can tell us what happened to him with the Twitter mob after he was retweeted by the president. Because I guess they see him now as Chuck Woolery is very famous in this country. Love Connection was a big hit. It was on for many, many years, and people know who he is. But he is so conservative, so pro-Trump. Somebody said death threat. I mean, I'm sure the death threats, but death threats are part of the public business. Everyone that does these kinds of things gets that. So I would think it's beyond that. I would think something else happened. I don't know what. I'm not speculating. I hope, because it could be anything, but something happened. And something happened, of course, with the left. And, the cancel culture of the left, like these people attacking the police, they feel so justified in silencing anyone who disagrees with them. They're so confident that they're right, and anyone who disagrees with them is so intolerant and so hateful that they must be silenced. So I hope that Chuck Woolery wakes up and shares with his audience what really happened, and then go back on social media. People want me to speculate in the chat room. I don't think it was a death threat. I think, I don't know. I'm going to say more probably extortion, blackmail type thing. He's been a celebrity his entire life. He was out in Hollywood forever. Remember he used to be, what he was most famous for on Love Connection was his watch. He had this really bling gold watch. He was the man who started bling, Chuck Woolery, with the watch. His watch, it was like Mr. T with the chains, but his watch was a big thing. But my guess would be something like that, right? An extortion, blackmail kind of thing, he got off social media in an instant. If his kid was sick, I'd be like, okay. But he's asymptomatic. So that's, sometimes I wish I was a liberal just for a couple of days so I could get some more insight into what's going on. Okay? Because the way the left are acting today is unlike they have ever acted. This is worse than the 60s. In the 60s, the protests might have been phony and backed by the Soviets and others, the Vietnam War protest era. But there was something they were protesting against, whether it was civil rights or the draft to go to Vietnam. They had an issue. What's going on today The only issue is they have a candidate who's suffering from age-related dementia, and they have a president they don't like who's going to be reelected in an overwhelming majority. Now, after the top of the hour break, there's a Quinnipiac poll, and I'm going to go through this poll, that has Biden up double digits, 15 points over the president. Yeah, oh yeah, they're all excited about this, and this will be a big story throughout the day on CNN and MSDNC and everything else, and I'll share with you how that happened. You know, and these polls are, you know, the purpose of the polls is to depress our vote. Okay? To depress our vote. That's a fact. That's what they're doing. That's what they plan on doing. That's what they will continue to do. All right, we're coming up on the top of the hour, so we'll get into that in the next hour. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We're on the air Monday through Friday, live from 6 until 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We broadcast live on AM 1470, 96.9 FM, 95.3 FM, and 103.9 FM. You can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app or the TuneIn app, which are, of course, free to download. And if you listen on one of the apps, you can listen on the Bluetooth in your car if you'd like. And you can find us on the iHeart Radio and the TuneIn app. TuneIn is TUNEIN. Search for Spire Station, call letters WWNN. We also are on the air overnights, 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m. Midnight till 6 a.m., 7 nights a week. And on all our radio stations, iHeart and TuneIn, you can listen to us there overnights, midnight till 6 a.m., including all weekend long. And, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Watch the live video stream, Brian Craig, on YouTube. And you can watch me live with our very active chat room and take part in the discussion there. The live chat room on YouTube Live during the live show. And you can take part in that, Brian Craig, on YouTube. All right, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 hour down, 2 to go. When we get back, I'll tell you how Joe Biden has a double-digit lead in the Quinnipiac poll. All right, don't go anywhere.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes, it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America, and that means life insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Cain's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
The Steve Cain Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Cain Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-CAIN 1. That's 1-888-GO-CAIN 1. And now, here's...
All righty. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It's Friday. We're here live. And just a reminder, tomorrow is Saturday. Any lab tests now of Boca and any lab tests now of Coral Springs are open on Saturday. And, you know, they're offering not just the coronavirus testing and the coronavirus antibody testing, but they're also offering that on-the-spot instant results that you get in 15 minutes with just a little finger test. Okay, so they are open on Saturday. If you want to give them a call, please do. Any lab tests now of Boca, their number 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. And of course, they're in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsborough. Any lab test now of Coral Springs. Again, they're both open on Saturday. Give them a call. This is Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. 954-906-5983, 954-906-5983, and they're located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. And Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Boca are offering the lowest price on all of these coronavirus testings in South Florida. Okay, so keep that in mind and make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Cain Radio Show. Okay, so this new Quinnipiac poll has Biden with a double-digit lead, okay, 15 points. I'm going to read this story. This is in Breitbart. And, you know, these polls, they have an effect on, they can depress you. You know they're fake. You don't believe them. And they can and they're meant to make you feel bad, depress you, depress your friends. Well, at least depress Trump people. Let me read this story. This is out of Breitbart. And this explains everything. Listen to this. A Quinnipiac poll released Wednesday showed Joe Biden leading President Trump nationally by double digits, widening his lead over the last month. The survey showed the former vice president leading Trump 52-37, up from the 8-point lead he saw in Quinnipiac's June 18th poll. While the survey attributes Biden's widening lead to independent voters who backed the Democratic Party's presumptive nominee by 17 points, a closer look at the survey's sample reveals that Republicans were, shocker here, undersampled. Quinnipiac surveyed 1,273 self-identified registered voters. Republicans made up only 24% of the respondents, while Democrats and independents comprised 34% each. So 68% of those surveyed were Democrats and independents. And you know how independents go. You know what independents are? They're independently Democrat. That's what they are. And this poll, there's victory laps going on all over the place. CNN, whoa, why double digits? This is what they do. You cannot let them get you down. Now, and this is pretty hardcore. The Quinnipiac poll, I went and looked today. in the last election had Trump ahead. But they see, things are different now. They've got everything against Trump. And when they're oversampling by those kinds of numbers, and what the hell good is a poll that that has 68% Democrat and 24% Republican? What good is a poll like that? You're on the radio. Good morning.
Phil from Boca.
Yeah.
Announced on the Fox News that Cain Wheeler was released on bail.
Yeah, I know. They said on bail, because I heard this morning on Fox, by the way, without bail. I will check it out. But I'll tell. What did they say? What the bail was? Okay. All right. Appreciate the head. I'll look if anybody has any updates on that. First off, that should be a non-bail thing. If that bail, if there is bail there, let me look at the New York Post and see if they have an update on it, because they are up to speed on such things. Let's see here, because I heard no bail on Fox. No, it says in the New York Post. Okay, though there's two different ones. It says here, man accused of punching police chief and cops on the Brooklyn Bridge released without bail. It's in the New York Post. So is there more than one? This is the New York Post. I'm reading it. The Bronx man who allegedly punched NYPD Chief Terrence Monahan and two other officers during protest on the Brooklyn Bridge Wednesday has been released without bail. Kiran Campbell, 25, is accused of socking the highest-ranking uniformed cop several times in the face as the chief tried to arrest him after he had allegedly punched another officer and lieutenant near the Manhattan approach to the bridge. He was arraigned on assault charges in Manhattan Criminal Court and was granted supervised release, and they're saying without bail. A second Bronx man, Banks Shaborn, 25, was arraigned Thursday after allegedly choking the same lieutenant. This Richard Mack of the department's strategic response team multiple times in the face during the scuffle. The suspects broke both of the lieutenant's orbital bones, sending him to the hospital for 12 stitches on his face. Monahan said he suffered some bruises and jammed fingers. That's the chief, but is otherwise fine. Shaborn, okay, now the second one, Bank Shaborn, he's the one who clocked the lieutenant. He's being held, they say he was being held on $10,000 bail. So now so one of them was released with no bail. The other one has a $10,000 bail. So there we go. One of them has bail, one of them none. And this is in the New York Post. The bridge brawl broke out Wednesday morning when social justice protesters, don't you love this social justice? What are they looking to have justice from? What are they looking to overcome? What civil rights are being violated? The bridge brawl broke out Wednesday when social justice protesters in Manhattan disrupted a pro-NYPD march. The chief on Thursday described the two as part of an anarchist group that has been infiltrating the Black Lives Matter movement since the beginning. This is interesting. I'd like to know if they're residents of New York. He said the mayor called him right afterwards, asked about the officers, asked about my well-being. So one $10,000 bail, one no bail. So I guess we were both right to the last caller there. But $10,000 bail to me seems a little light for clocking police officers and the chief and a lieutenant and a sergeant. That should be like $500,000 bail. And it should be a high bail for a couple of reasons, But what I'd like to see is a high bail. They'd get bailed out and find out who puts up the bail. Wouldn't that be interesting to find out? The $10,000, they can, you only have to come up with you have to come up with $1,000 or something. I don't know how bail works. I've never had to bail anybody out, and luckily I've never needed to be bailed out either. But you only have to come up with 10%. So we were both right, caller. One has bail, one no bail. 10,000. I mean, can you imagine? hitting a police officer publicly like that, the top cop in the city, and you get a bail. One gets out, no bail. New York City is in a state of anarchy, and I don't care if the mayor called up the chief to ask how he was doing. The mayor is responsible for this because of his tone. You know, when the mayor's daughter was arrested at one of the protests early on where they were vandalizing police officers, he was talking about how proud he was of his daughter. So that encourages this. Doesn't stop it. It encourages it. All right, now, so anyway, these polls, you know, this Quinnipiac, so they sampled 64% independents, which you know are lying Democrats, and Democrats, 24% Republican. Someone called me earlier and said, off the air, and said Rasmussen has Biden up 3. So at least that one's close. That's within the margin of error. Okay? But these polls are serious business, not just because they depress our vote, which they do. They're planning on stealing the election, people. Okay? And they want the polls to reflect the theft. That's why, you know, Trump said yesterday if they get away with their mail-in vote-at-home racket, he could lose. See, this is the thing with the mail-at-home. The media, they're just not doing the right job of explaining this. Because they say, oh, well, you know, President Trump votes at home. No. They have confused two things. They have confused absentee balloting and mailing at home, and what they're proposed with at-home voting. There's a difference between voting at home, what they're talking about now, and absentee. And here's what it is. Absentee, you send for an absentee ballot. You can't make it to the voting polls for whatever reason. You work at the White House and you live in Florida, or you're not able to physically make it, or you're on vacation. There's all kinds of reasons. You have to request it. They send it to you. Then you send it back. There's a process. The mail-in vote that they're talking about, Nancy Pelosi calls it mail at home. What they want to do, an absentee ballot is something you request through a process. What they want to do with this voting at home mail-in vote is mail ballots to every registered voter regardless. Everyone on the voting rolls, they're going to mail a ballot. Wouldn't you like to see the number of ballots that go to individual addresses? There will be addresses that get dozens, if not hundreds of ballots, I promise you. And we know the voting rolls are filled with dead people, non-existent people, non-citizens. Did I say fictitious people already? You understand what I mean? And a lot of people are registered in multiple locations. Right? A lot of people are registered, especially, there's a lot of scam that goes on with college students. College students are registered to vote at mommy and daddy's house and at the university, at the college, okay? And they get ballots that, you know. So they want to mail ballots to everyone that's on the voting rolls. Can you imagine? First off, I would like to know how many people are on the voting rolls. Wouldn't you? There's probably more people on the voting rolls than are in the country. There's probably, you know, these are done at the county level throughout the country. What I'd like to know is, how many counties have more people registered to vote than they have people living in the county? And you will probably find that there are counties that have 200 or 300 times as many people registered to vote as live in the county. And you know what? All those ballots will get filled in and voted, and the votes will be registered. This is one of the biggest coup. This is the coup times a million. Yeah, remember, there used to be, you know, I liked when Afghanistan was liberated by coalition forces and they had their first election. It was so interesting what they did. They were so smart over there. You had to vote in person, none of this mail at home business. Everybody that voted had to dip their finger in the white paint, right, that you couldn't be washed off, had to wear off. Remember that? Then that's how they got over the. We need a system like that. The mail at home vote is the most frightening thing that this country has faced so far as our elections. And you know what? The Democrats know it, but the Democrats don't care. The end justifies the means. The masses are asses. We're just, we you know, you and I, we didn't go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or Columbia, or Berkeley. We don't understand. We're voting against our best interest, and they're actually helping us through this theft. Yeah, this is the biggest scam so far as elections in the modern world. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning. Hey, Mike.
Right on. You're right on that. Think about this. I believe it was in Philadelphia where there were places where they had 110% of the vote come in.
We had that happen in Florida in the re-election of Allen West. There were voting locations that had 113% voting turnout. And, of course, the greatest you can have of a whole is 100%. Ohio had the same thing back in 2012. They had counties that had more votes than they had residents of the county.
Right, and that's the thing. That's another way they do it. Oh, we're going to find... we found these ballots and wherever.
Well, if they're just mailing them to everyone that's registered, there are going to be addresses that receive bags of ballots, boxes of ballots. And, of course, the Democrat mail carriers, they don't care. They'll dump 500 or 1,000 ballots in front of somebody's house or in front of a warehouse. They don't care.
Right, and then of course, in California, there's ballot harvesting, you know.
Oh, that ballot harvesting, that's nothing. That's legitimate compared to this.
And you know, they may, and then of course, remember what happened in 2000? Simple Chads, hanging Chads, all that stuff out of Broward.
Well, what they did, and when they were recounting in 2000, a lot of people leave some things blank on a ballot. I leave things blank sometimes because sometimes there's and in 2000, some people left president off. So what the Democrat Party was doing is if someone didn't vote for president, they wanted to look at how they voted on the other things, and if they voted for mostly Democrat things on the rest of the ballot, they wanted to count it as a Gore vote. Because if they would have voted for president, it would have been for Gore. Democrats are always trying to steal elections.
Thing, you know, I'll say it here again, and that I used to listen to a radio show out of New Orleans, and the guy's big deal was their studio was across the way from a cemetery, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking right outside the window at a voting precinct," you know.
Well, you know, what I've always said, and Ron DeSantis, I know he's busy with the COVID and all this stuff and everything they're doing, but the way to do it is look at everyone who is registered to vote, who is, in Florida, we have the oldest population. Start at age 80 or 85, get a list of everyone that's registered to vote that is 80 years of age or older, cross-reference that with the Social Security Administration, find out how many of them are dead, find out when they died, and then look and see how many times they have voted since they've been dead, those over 80 years old. You know? And that would be the beginning to get our elections. It would help stop this mail-in vote scam, because those are all absentee voters. They don't vote in person, the dead people. The dead people are fraudulent absentee ballots. All right, appreciate the call, Mike. We got to run for a break. 21 minutes after. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs are the best labs to go to when you need quick and affordable lab work that's private and accurate. Don't go to those other labs where you have to wait hours just to be seen by an unfriendly lab tech. Everything at any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs is first class. The labs are super clean. The techs highly skilled and professional. Plus their prices are the lowest you will find. Guaranteed. If your time is valuable, and I know it is, you cannot wait around to get your lab work. Any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs are the places you need to go. You will be seen quickly with no appointment, no doctor's order or prescription necessary, in and out in 15 minutes or less, and they're always friendly and courteous. When you go to any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs, you are putting your healthcare in your own hands. You are in control. They have every test you need, whether it's a blood test, urine test, drug test, STD test, or any other lab test. Any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs have you covered. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto and Hillsboro, on the east side of State Road 7. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Cain Show.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Listen to The Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. And what a beautiful, it was like thunderstorming when I left today, and it is beautiful and sunny in Florida today. All right, welcome back, everyone. Our number, 888-GO-CAIN-1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, it's amazing to me what's now going on with reparations. Reparations used to be a joke. Used to be a joke that was talked about by fringe people. And we're hearing it more and more and more. It's only a matter of time before Joe Biden comes out in favor of reparations. But this was the most bizarre thing. Providence, Rhode Island. They're trying to change the name of Rhode Island. Did you know this? They are. I'm not kidding. That's not the official name. Rhode Island is a abbreviation. The real name of the state is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. And, of course, that's racist now, so they want to change the name. But anyway, I know. A lot of people don't know that's the name of the state. That's the official name of the state. The mayor of Providence, I'm going to play this clip of him talking. The mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, signed an executive order today for reparations. Listen to this.
So today, in just a few moments, I will be signing an executive order committing the city to a truth, reconciliation, and reparations process.
All right, folks, let's make this official. Let's make history.
Yes, let's make history. There he is. He's signing. They're applauding. You know, they have some token white people around that support reparations. Now, you know, and this is all over the media. I saw this all over the media today, and I wonder how this works. How the city of Providence, Rhode Island, is going to pay reparations. Is this to the residents of Providence? And is it just and is this a one-time payment? Did they get a check every month? Is it a yearly stipend? And by the way, is it just residents that are African American who are in Providence right now? Or does this go back to someone who lived in Providence in the past? And if so, how far back? Does he really intend on doing? This is so stupid. But you know, he's the beginning. It's going to be the dominoes. You're going to see Democrats all over the country. They're voting in city councils for reparations. And, you know, a lot of people who are in the reparations movement believe it. You know, a number of years ago, Steve and I were guests on a talk show on a black radio station. And you guys remember Jean Jabwin and Miss Ivy? Oh, man, this was great. This was great. We used to go on their show all the time, and they'd come over here with us. And it was a Caribbean radio station that had a talk show on in the middle of the day, and it was very liberal, militant, and they were always talking about reparations. And I remember we were over there one day, and Steve said, I don't know why you spend... They talked about reparations every day, and I don't know why you talk about reparations. It's never going to happen. Just a minor, no big thing, just a comment. And I remember Miss Ivy looked at Steve and says, she was like shocked. How can you say? And I mean, she was like shocked that reparations were not coming. Well, they're coming. They're coming in Providence, Rhode Island. And I wonder how this works because, with all of this DNA testing that goes on, right? 23andMe and all this stuff. You see this DNA testing? Like my daughter did the DNA test. She wanted to do the DNA test, and she found out that she's 20s or 18% Native American, and they even had the particular tribe somewhere down in Central America or South America or something. So if you do a DNA test and find out you're only 83% African American, do you only get 83% of the reparation? You understand what I mean? Do they break it down, do a DNA test? This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. But it's what I was telling Nicole in the first hour. What's going on, whether it's de Blasio or this idiot mayor in Providence, Rhode Island, you have two things going on here. You have people like de Blasio who are allowing the mob to have some mob rule with these gladiator games of attacking police officers, okay? And you have another group like the mayor there or the squad. These are left-wing, radical people that the Democrats have always catered their message to in the fringes of primary season, right? But they never were intended to get elected and hold office. If you remember, when the squad first came to Congress, they pulled some act where they got together, and remember this? AOC and the squad went to march to Mitch McConnell's office, and they couldn't find it. Do you remember this? And then they found his office, and then they found it was his ceremonial office, not the real office he uses, and they were in the wrong... Remember all of that? And Nancy Pelosi said there's a difference between being an activist and being a member of Congress. Remember she talked about this? The Democrats have been preaching to these radicals so long, they never intended any of them to hold power, and they do all over the place. Whether it's the district attorney in St. Louis that now believes it's a crime to defend your home and your wife when you're under attack in your community after they rip off an iron gate from the entrance to your home, that you're the criminal because you won't let your home be looted, right? These radical activists are in power all over the country now, and that's a lot of what's going on here. In primaries, you've heard this over the years. When people are running for office in a primary, they take very radical positions. They go to the fringes of their party because and this is true with Republicans too over the years. The fringe activists of both parties are the ones that are most likely to vote in primaries. So they cater their messages to them, and then the candidates win primaries, and then they get more reasonable. Well, the Democrats' fringes are now their mainstream, okay? And they can't get them under control. Now, I apologize. I took that last break a little late, so I'm going to take this break on time so we can get back on schedule, all right? My name's Brian. You're listening to The Steve Cain Show. Don't go anywhere.
This is Steve Cain. I'm sitting here with my good friend and my attorney, Barry Siegel of the Siegel Law Group. Barry, you offer a service called elder law, and since I'm getting up there in years, I'd like to find out exactly what that is and when and if I need it.
Sure, Steve. Elder law, think of it as asset protection. Now, as we age and get into our retirement years, the number one concern or threat to our assets is the cost of long-term care. Care either at home, in an assisted living facility, or in a nursing home can be very, very expensive. And it can eat away at your assets. It can even deplete your assets to nothing. Imagine if you lose all your assets, you have to go into a facility and your spouse at home has nothing left. Or you may end up not having any assets left to leave to your loved ones. So with elder law, we are able to look at different government benefits that may be available to you or your spouse, such
Yeah,
as
I was
Medicaid
seeing what
or
you were
veteran
doing, so I knew.
benefits. And even if you don't think that you're eligible
7:30.
for benefits, you'd be surprised. That's what elder law attorneys do.
Oh, okay, you're coming in. Okay, all right, I'll see you. All right, bye.
Eligible at this
Oh, Steve's coming into the studio today.
so that they can protect their assets for themselves, their spouse, and their loved ones.
Well, it sounds like a really great idea. I suggest you call my attorney, Barry Siegel, and he will be glad to set up an appointment and explain everything to you in even more detail. His number, toll free, 1-855-FLA-3782. Mention that you heard it on the Steve Cain Show.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All righty, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve will be in studio today, and we were talking about this yesterday. We are building a remote studio at Steve's house. So, but that's a process. It's not done yet. Well, it hasn't even been started yet, but it'll be started soon. We're going to actually get the process started today after the show. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Cain Radio Show. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CAIN, 1-888-465-2631. All right, so Mary Trump, she's the flavor of the week. She's the it girl right now. 2 weeks ago, it was John Bolton. The Democrats always have these schemes. They're always going to bring Trump down. Right now, they're going to bring him down with Mary Trump. 2 weeks ago, they were going to bring him down with John Bolton. They were going to bring him down with Access Hollywood. They were going to bring him down with Stormy Daniels. Then they were going to bring him down with arresting his attorney, and raiding his attorney's office and records and everything. Then they were going to bring him down with, come on. Then they're going to bring him down with they're always running a scheme. And every scheme they use against him evaporates. And Mary Trump, I will tell you, okay, as much as I love Trump, if I thought she had any credibility, I'd be talking. I'd tell you. I would not tell you she was not credible if I thought she was. I watched her, I'll play a clip here, but I watched her interview with Rachel Maddow, and she's lying. She's just a liar. And her reactions are the reactions of a liar. Let me play this clip. Now, this is Rachel Maddow. She claims that she's going to press Mary Trump. She's going to ask her some difficult things that she really doesn't even want to deal with, is what she's implying here, Rachel Maddow. She doesn't want to do this, but she must. And she asks Mary Trump, the niece of the president, if he's ever used anti-Semitic words, and has he ever used the dreaded N-word? That's right. So let me cue this up. And, watch the video online. I know a lot of you don't watch MSNBC. Look at Mary Trump's body language if you watch this online. So anyway, this is Mary Trump with Rachel Maddow. Here we go.
A stunning new accusation from President Trump's niece, Mary Trump, telling MSNBC's Rachel Maddow she's heard the president use anti-Semitic slurs and the N-word.
Oh.
I have to press you on it a little bit.
I love this. This is Rachel Maddow. I have to press you on this. I really don't want to do this. I don't want things exposed about our president, but I must press you on this, Rachel Maddow says. Come on.
Semitic slurs and the N-word.
Press you on it a little bit, just to ask if the president, if your uncle was an exception to that in your family, or if you ever heard him express either his anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that. Or do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too?
Oh yeah, of course I did. And I don't think that should surprise anybody, given how virulently racist he is today.
Okay, now, that's Mary Trump. Anti-Semitic, racist. Ivanka is a Jew. Jared is a Jew. His grandkids from that marriage are Jews. And if he's an anti-Semite, look at Netanyahu loves this guy. When Netanyahu gets around Trump, he loves Trump as much as I do. He's hugging him. You know, I mean, come on. But anyway, okay, so let me get back to this. Okay, so Rachel Maddow doesn't want to do this. But Mary Trump just said he's used anti-Semitic slurs in her presence. Now, if you're interviewing, what's your next question? Pretty simple. Because she says, yes, he has used anti-Semitic words and phrases, blah, 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 blah. The follow-up is this. Can you give an example, Mary Trump, of when the president used an anti-Semitic slur? Can you now use the first letters when you don't? We don't want you to say the anti-Semitic words, so use the letter. But can you give us an example of something he said that you heard him say that was anti-Semitic? That's the follow-up. Let's see what Rachel does.
To that in your family, or if you ever heard him express either use anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that. Do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too? Oh yeah, of course I did. And I don't think that should surprise anybody, given how virulently racist he is today.
Dead air, Rachel Maddow. And so she doesn't ask the follow-up. Can you give an example of what did he say that was anti-Semitic? Instead, she does this dramatic pause where she pretends to be upset that our president has used anti-Semitic words. She does go to another question, though. Okay, so we'll play the rest.
If you ever heard him express either use anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that, or do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too? Oh yeah, of course I did. And I don't think that should surprise anybody, given how virulently racist he is today. Have you heard the president use the N-word? Yeah. And anti-Semitic slurs specifically? Yes.
In the past.
Oh my God, that's it, and that's it. When did he use the N-word? What did he, now again, don't say the word, because we don't want to say it on MSNBC. Just say N-word, insert that there. What did he say? Who was he talking about? What was the word? What was the phrase? What was the none of that. Oh my goodness. If our president was going around saying the N-word and anti-Semitic word, I would want to, I'd want to know. The question is, if it were true, would you still vote for him? You know? But she doesn't ask her that. Why? Because it's not true. She doesn't have an example. And, you know, I've been around real racist people. Some anti-Semites too, okay? And when people talk that way, they don't think that they're saying anything wrong. An anti-Semite and a racist doesn't think they're a racist. They don't think they're anti-Semitic. I was telling Steve, I'm not going to give any details on who this is or anything. It was a terrible thing. But I heard someone telling an anti-Semitic joke or two. And this guy just thought he was the funniest thing in the world. He didn't even think that there was anything wrong with what he was saying. That's what a real anti-Semite is like. A real racist is like. So someone who talks that way, they talk that way all the time because there's nothing wrong with what they're saying. You understand? Someone doesn't say, I'm an anti-Semite, I better keep this stuff quiet. I'm a racist, I better not say. They talk this way all the time. And we have only heard 2 people say that they've heard the president use the N-word. Both of them hate him like the plague. Mary Trump, who's as sane as Mary Todd. I saw her, and she looks out of her mind. Is she a psychologist, or is she seeing one? I don't know. But we've heard 2 people say that they heard the president use the N-word. Mary Todd here, or Mary Trump here, and Tom Arnold. 2 people that hate him like the plague. Where's all the other people that heard him speak this way? You're telling me in his entire life, all these liberals that, he's an anti-Semite racist, but all these liberals in the New York media who have known Donald Trump since the 70s and 80s, they've never heard him talk this way. I haven't heard any, the Cuomos have known President Trump their entire lives because, the New York connection. Have they ever heard him use the word? Have you heard any ex-employees accuse him of using the words? They brought women that have said they've had affairs with him. Did any of them say that he used this? Of course not. And she doesn't have any specifics because it didn't happen. And Rachel Maddow knows she has no specifics and didn't hear it happen. That's why she didn't ask her for a follow-up. And this scripted play of Rachel Maddow of acting as if she didn't know what she was going to say, and the fake dramatic pauses and the reluctance to ask because she doesn't want to really know if the president's a racist or if our president's an anti-Semite. What a joke. What a freaking joke. But I would say out of everything that has come out about this president, so far as books, okay? And they've had, I don't know how many books now they've had, and every book is going to bring him down, right? Bob Woodward had a book. I forgot that first book. Bolton, what happened to Bolton 2 weeks ago? There was a countdown. Oh, the Bolton book. This will be it. This will be it. People will see what goes on behind closed doors from someone he chose that the conservatives love. Bolton's going to bring him down. He was inside the rooms when these things happened. What happened to him? It's evaporated now. Is John Bolton in the witness protection program? Well, how did that fizzle? Bob Woodward had a book. Oh, well, with Bob Woodward's book, it's coming out. He's called Woodward and Bernstein, Watergate. What happened to that? All of these books are talked about as if they're going to bring him down until they come out and then fizzles. Now, there's a lot of talk in conservative online media that she's never met him. I don't buy that she's never met him. She said she was at the White House in the Oval Office with him, so that had to be there. But every one of these books says this is a fifth or sixth book that was going to expose and bring him down from an insider. And they hype these things, and then boom, they come out. And I'll tell you, the book they say has sold 950,000 copies, which I don't believe. But they say it sold 950,000 copies. So almost 1 million people have had this book in their possession, and there's not one specific thing that has come out to show him to be any of these things that Mary Todd Trump here is accusing him of being. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CAIN 1. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, Cain, I'm here chatting with Dr. Troy Lemaski, my personal chiropractor. Dr. Troy, how are you today?
Doing well, Steve.
Chiropractic is an art. All the nerves in your body go through your spine. If your spine's out of line, the nerves get pinched, and of course you're going to have all kinds of symptoms and all kinds of pain as a result of that. And until you get that spine realigned, you're going to be in pain.
100% correct. If you have a joint, especially in your back, that's stuck, that's not moving properly, it will put pressure not only possibly on nerves, but more of the time on soft tissue structures such as the ligaments, the muscles, and it will create pressure. There are nerves within the joint called mechanoreceptors, and they will affect the actual nerves that are in the joint. Pinched nerves are very common, and they do come from spinal misalignment, but not everybody that has a problem has a pinched nerve.
I've been seeing you for a relatively short period of time, and you have the healing touch, I'll tell you that. When I walk out of your office, I feel like a whole new person. I know you take great care of everybody, but I know you're going to go that extra mile for our wonderful Steve Cain listeners. Doctor, give them the number of the office where they can make an appointment.
It's Coast Chiropractic Injury and Wellness Center, and the phone number is 954-463-3036. 954-463-3036. We're located in East Fort Lauderdale. We're just one block east of US 1 and Oakland Park Boulevard, right off Middle River Drive. The address is 2510 East Oakland Park Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale.
Dr. Troy Lemaski, a great healer. Make an appointment today. We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, then more Cain, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills. Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof. All with people that are experienced can tell you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Cain Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location.
I was just reading an article
of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Cain sent you.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. It's time to check in with Dr. Mitch Matez. Hey, Dr. Matez, how you doing? Good, good, good. You know, I was thinking about you this week. I was talking to someone. You know, one of the things I noticed about hormone replacement pellet therapy, and I told you this right out of the box, is, and it's very relevant this time of year when it is hot as hell, is I noticed that with hormone replacement pellet therapy, I handle the heat much better. You know, once you hit 40, the heat can be a killer. And I don't know what it is about hormone replacement pellet therapy, but it makes the heat more bearable.
It definitely does, Brian. One of the things that we do is balance out your hormones. That includes your thyroid, by the way. Your thyroid is really the temperature regulator of your body. That's the gland that really does the temperature regulation. But the steroid hormones of estrogen and testosterone play a huge role, as you know, in keeping you nice and cool and not having heat waves, hot flashes, sweats at night, things like that. So you are absolutely correct. You will note when you're on hormone replacement therapy that your tolerance to the heat will be definitely better.
Yeah.
Tolerance to the cold.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, and by the way, we're not just talking about women, talking about men. Every guy I know, they know, as soon as I hit 40, I couldn't take the heat anymore. You know, I feel like I'm going to pass out all the time or have a heat stroke.
Fairly common problem, and it is directly related to the lowering of the hormone levels, particularly the thyroid hormone levels.
That's amazing.
Well, we could do a whole show on this, and you know, the mainstream of medicine has definitely undertreated the thyroid gland throughout history, and you know, we've come up with some pretty very set ideas in our mind of how thyroid function should be, and much like the rest of them, we consider a declining thyroid function as you age as quote-unquote normal. And one of the things that we tell everybody who comes to our door, we're not going to seek normal thyroid function on you. We're going to seek optimal thyroid function. And there's a huge difference between what's normal, which is a subjective word made up by a bunch of stuffy doctors, or what's optimal, which is how God actually intended your thyroid to function. And we that's how we make thyroids work.
You know, that thyroid problem, you know, my wife and daughter, neither of them have thyroids anymore. Thyroid's a big problem for women.
Your wife and your daughter, as you know, are going to have to take thyroid medication for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Cannot survive. Human beings cannot survive without a thyroid.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, ironically, your family becomes rather easy to treat because whatever we give is what they get, and there's no back and forth.
Oh, so this is interesting. So you know, thyroid removal is huge among women. Big deal. A lot of women are without thyroids. You know, I think there's more women without thyroids than having the big surgery. You know what I mean? But Yeah, that's a big thing. So if a woman is without a thyroid, hormone replacement pellet therapy can help her?
Absolute necessity. If you don't replace the thyroid.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's always a problem, you know. You got to get the dose right, and then they got to, you know, all these other. It's not fun. So, but hormone replacement pellet therapy, I think, would make that a lot easier. This is something. I'm glad I asked you about that today. Yeah. Yeah.
What happens is when we put pellets in people, we balance the sex steroid hormones out. You will see other glands like the thyroid straighten themselves or balance themselves out. So, we see this very frequently. We start people, they look like they have a little bit of a sluggish thyroid. We put them on a hormone replacement, and suddenly their thyroid function is perfect.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. It's amazing. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is just a miracle, all natural treatment. Give Dr. Mitch Matez a call, a completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Cain Radio Show. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And online, hormonetherapybocaraton.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we will talk next week. All right, take care. Yeah, and it's beautiful out. Oh my goodness, it is beautiful outside. Okay, I think everyone likes Harris Faulkner. Does anyone not like Harris Faulkner on Fox News? I like Harris Faulkner, and she's going to be the next victim of the left because they're elevating her at Fox. And I'm sure you've heard that she's got this town hall coming up this weekend, and I'm not too crazy. I'm going to have to wait until Monday morning because the town hall's on Sunday night at 10 p.m. and I'll be in bed at 10 p.m. on Sunday night. But there's an article in Variety talks about how she's married to a white man and all this stuff. And it says here, Harris Faulkner will have reason to maintain her, so it goes on and on with all kinds of stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Variety, they're all sucking up. Oh, here it is. On Sunday at 10 p.m., Harris Faulkner will host a special primetime event for the first time in her career at Fox News. And it leads with her name. Harris Faulkner presents The Fight for America. It's going to offer a look at civil unrest and race relations in the United States and marks the latest in a series of special format programs she has anchored this year. Sean Hannity will take part in the proceedings. More are on the way, notes Harris Faulkner, who expects to continue to lead town hall discussions as well as news specials with her name in the title. We're going to take some. This is about the Sunday event of Harris Faulkner. We're going to take some important voices to the conversation, and we're going to talk real and talk raw, she says, of Sunday's broadcast during a recent interview conducted from her home over Zoom. Harris Faulkner, one of the few black women anchoring weekday slots on mainstream U.S. cable news, is a biracial marriage. She says she and her husband have tough discussions about such topics every day. We are raw with each other, she says. I think that's where we all need to be as Americans. We can take it. Okay, this sounds like a bunch of garbage to me. She has racial discussions with her husband that they're dealing with every day. My family is an interracial family. Okay? And we don't encounter racial things. We've had incidents happen that are so mild. I mean, like, for example, when my daughter would start a new school when she was in grade school or middle school or high school, and I'd go to sign her out, they'd make me go through an extra layer to prove I was her dad because we don't match. Okay, things like that happen. We went through a security checkpoint together once, and security let me through and didn't let her through with me because they didn't know we were together. Because we don't match. Stupid. Those aren't racial incidents. Those are just little tiny things. I don't know what Harris Faulkner's talking about. And on top of that, Harris Faulkner lives in New York City. So why would she be dealing with any racial things in liberal New York City? Isn't that a utopian society of liberalism? Unless you're a cop. I guess it's not utopia yet because there's police there. But this Harris Faulkner Presents discussion, okay? these discussions are all the same. They're a waste of time, and they really are all liberal. All liberal. Okay? She may not mean it to be, but it's all liberal. What they do is they bring people in from both sides. I'll tell you what they're going to do right now. They haven't announced, so far as I know, who the panel will be. They'll have black liberals who think that there's all this injustice going on. They'll have black conservatives who have woken up and don't believe that it's going on. I don't think she'll have I don't think she's going to have Candace Owens there, though. Candace Owens may be too charismatic and take the spotlight from Harris Faulkner, but maybe she will have Candace Owens. All right, so you'll have the black liberals who tell us it's a racist America. You'll have the black conservatives who tell you it's not, and they'll sit around and discuss it, and they'll have some others like Hannity chime in. It's all left wing because it acknowledges a reality that's not there. Okay, there was a time when there was segregation and widespread discrimination against minorities, and it was institutionalized. Those days are gone. We've had a black man twice elected to the presidency. You look at what's going on around the country. There's black female police chiefs, black female mayors, Hispanic mayors, and there's a mix of everything now. That world no longer exists, and the discussion is about 30 years out of date. What Harris Faulkner's doing, it sounds like something Oprah Winfrey would do. And I remember Oprah Winfrey. This is an exact Oprah Winfrey discussion. I would say somebody in the chat room mentioned Oprah Winfrey. I would say this is exactly what Oprah Winfrey would do. To have a discussion that's relevant and timely, not some generic white man is bad thing here from 1985 going on Fox News Sunday night, is, you look at the incidents that are going on. The real discussion is, what are they fighting for? What is the racial injustice that they're fighting for? There's not an incident. There's no more segregation. The police officers in George Floyd all arrested and charged with murder. The police officers with Brooks in Atlanta arrested and charged with serious felonies that'll land them in jail for the rest of their lives too, if they're convicted. There is not a racial injustice going on against African Americans today. And especially with this George Floyd, we've learned that they worked together and had problems together when they worked together at some bar. So this may not have been racial at all. I mean, even if it is, it's one guy, one jerk who's going to go to prison forever. Okay? The cop in the George Floyd case. There's no in the past, there was an injustice, right? Separate schools, or having to sit on the back of the bus, or can't sit at the lunch counter. So I guess they've done away with lunch counters. That's how they got away. There's none of these issues are taking place right now. Okay? So they have nothing to fight for. They're not fighting for anything other than anger, hate towards other groups of people. But that's not what Faulkner's going to do. Faulkner's going to sit down there Sunday night and have a discussion as if there's a legitimate viewpoint of systematic racism that must be ended in this country. I hope she does not have Cornel West on. Oh, my goodness. All right, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, third and final hour coming up. You're listening to The Steve Cain Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CAIN-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Lori Cain, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Cain listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Cain listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954
Oh, you scared me. I didn't see you come in.
4633.
You scared me. I didn't see you come in.
952-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Cain sent you.
You can if you want.
Do you suffer from foot pain that just won't go away? Do you have balance issues and are you afraid of falling? Are you in need of orthotics? Are you a diabetic and in need of diabetic shoes and custom inserts? These are just a few reasons why you would call the Soul Authority today. Whether it's in the comfort of your own home or coming to the office at one of our 2 convenient locations in Pembroke Pines or Tamarack, the Soul Authority can take care of all of your podiatric needs. If you're a Medicare recipient, call us today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. And you can also find us online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Call
Why
the
would you
Soul
do that,
Authority
Johnny?
today and start taking care of your feet.
The Steve Cain Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
You can use either one you want to use, either mic. Just gotta pick one.
Throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You probably have to sit down to use that one. You'll probably have to sit down to use that one.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The
All right, third and final hour has begun. Steve rejoining us in studio.
A very good morning.
Oh man, I gotta tell everyone, I had such an amazing experience yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, when I got off the air, I left the studio, went over to Champaign Auto, and picked up my Ford Explorer. Now, I have a Ford Explorer that is 17 years old and has 180,000 miles on it.
Whoa.
I know. Can you imagine? And this car, it has been sitting at my house. I haven't really drove the car for 2 or 3 years because it had a lot of mechanical issues, and I was really afraid to take it somewhere and get it repaired because it's so old, so many miles, and I just didn't trust anyone to tell me honestly what was wrong with the vehicle. And I took it over to Champaign Automotive. Now, I knew I had a radiator leak. So they had to replace my radiator, and by the way, great prices over there. And they looked over the entire vehicle.
Who handled the job?
Well, that's easy.
Eddie or Eddie?
Eddie did, yeah.
Eddie, okay.
And this was absolutely shocking to me. I asked them to look over the entire car, bumper to bumper, because it'd been sitting for 2 or 3 years. And I said, there's got to be something wrong other than this radiator leak. Shocker. No. Just a radiator leak. They did replace the radiator, and I got in the car, drove it down I-95, and it drove like the day it came off the showroom floor. I could not believe how well this car's driving. It's absolutely amazing. So listen, the long and short of that is they do incredible work at great prices, and they will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need.
They did a super job on my Sienna, and they
Yeah.
also did some body work.
Yeah.
Body work's not their main thing. Their main thing is, of course, the mechanical
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
But the car looks like brand new, drives like brand new, just
Yeah.
unbelievable, and the price, very,
The prices are great. The work is spectacular. And, you know, on my car being 17 years old and 180,000 miles, somebody could have told me it needed everything under the hood done, and I would have believed it. Because
Which is what they usually do elsewhere.
Not Champaign Automotive. They will never do a repair on your vehicle that it does not need. Listen, give them a call. They're located in Boca, listed at stevecainshow.com. The number 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. Champaign Automotive. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Cain Show. I saw the. Oh, what's on your mind before I bring something else up? If you haven't been here
Well,
for
the main
a
thing
little
on
while.
my mind is
Steve Cain
what
Show.
Donald Trump has in mind for
Steve Cain Show.
clamping down on these
Hello?
hooligans, these
Hold on.
terrorists who are terrorizing the entire western United States.
Oh my gosh.
And I guess more than that, because they're in New York too. So
Yeah, do you know what they beat?
What I want to know is how can they? If somebody attacks you, you've been attacked before, right?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Multiple times. It's because you're so lovable.
Yeah.
But if somebody attacks you,
true.
what is the way that you defend yourself?
How would if I were attacked now?
Yeah,
I guess with my hands.
Well,
I
what
guess.
would you do with your hands?
Fight back.
Fight back.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
These cops are not allowed to fight back. Can you imagine that? And then these thugs get arrested. These terrorists.
Yeah, but what about the 400 years of rational injustice, Steve? You're being insensitive.
Yes,
You're being insensitive.
Again, being insensitive. By the way, you cut me off in the middle of what I was saying.
Yeah, about fighting back. About fighting back.
Yeah,
the cops can't fight back.
The cops are not allowed to fight back.
No, that's true.
If they're able to arrest these thugs, they get them in jail. They let them out of jail. They don't keep them in jail.
Both people that were involved in the attacks on the lieutenant, the sergeant, and the chief of New York City's police department are out of jail. One was released without bail. Can you imagine?
It's really
What were they
dangerous.
beating
Really
them
dangerous.
with? I thought that was a broomstick, and I guess I just thought maybe because of Pelosi, it made me think of broomsticks. But what were they beating the cops with? It looked like a broomstick.
It was like a long
pipe.
I don't know what to call. No, it was wood.
Wood. It looked like wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, whatever it is, the cops are
In the day.
defenseless, and the cops are getting hurt, and no way to protect themselves.
Well,
but the point I was
yeah.
trying to make is,
What's Trump gonna
the
do?
old saying, the best defense is a good offense. Basically, when somebody attacks you, what you do is you fight back, and the cops are not allowed to fight back.
No. Well, Trump said on Wednesday he's going to announce something that has to do with
But I
this.
can't imagine what it is. If they can't fight back, that takes away pretty much everything.
Well, it's not right for them to fight back because they got to make up for the past injustices. It's just so ridiculous. What's happening in New York is because of the mayor.
By the way, I get your other question.
What was the other question?
You wanted to know how the reparations work?
Yeah.
What they do is, it's not really reparations in the classic sense that we used to talk about it. What they do is they stipulate, they put aside some money for a project in the black area, like a playground or some kind of thing like that.
That costs a lot of money.
They cost a lot of money. They spend a lot of money. They build a playground or whatever it is, and that is the reparations.
Is the playground?
Yeah.
That
Plus, they have to find the exact.
That the
slaves
mayor's friends get
that
them.
Go in the playground if you show up at the playground and you weren't one of the original slaves. I wonder if they throw you out.
Yeah.
But it's such a joke. It's so disgusting.
I found something for you. It's unrelated to all this stuff. You might be interested in this. Okay?
I'm up for it.
Okay, it might help. Listen to this. A 51-year-old man has revealed he has moved to Mississippi to be with a cheerleader turned felon that he has never met.
Cheerleader turned felon.
She was a cheerleader. Now she's a felon. He has never met her. He's moving to Mississippi. He contacted her on a prison dating website, and and they got a picture of her. She's a knockout. Apparently, there's a lot of these beautiful women that are in these prison. I thought it might be a way for you to find the next Mrs. X. Well, they got to have somewhere to go when they get released.
I've tried everything but a felon.
See, that's her. She's pretty.
Very nice.
Yeah, she's getting out, and this guy,
What was she in for? Does it say?
I think she killed her last older husband. No, I don't know. I don't know what she did. Let me see if I'll look for the website for you, and you can get on the new website.
No, that's all right.
They're looking for a place to stay and love.
I've been working hard on learning how to make better choices in my
I don't know.
my long-term relationship.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a felon. But the thing with the cops that video on the bridge in New York was one of the most frightening things I've ever seen. It was in the middle of the day. It's a New York City lieutenant, sergeant, and the chief. And it's one thing to beat a cop. It's another one to beat the chief of police of New York or a lieutenant or a sergeant. I mean, there's just no fear of the police. And that's
The fear has to be on the part of the police.
The fear of police is a more powerful law enforcement tool than their guns.
That's correct.
And it's been lost. It's been lost because of the mayor.
The intimidation factor.
Now, what I wonder is it there's no bail? They do, I'll be out this afternoon. What is it? Is it? I mean, what have they done? What has happened?
They release them. They don't. If they don't, a lot of them don't have bail. So probably the one that they charged bail probably was they had the money.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If you don't have the money, they'll let you out for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see how it can work. You can't work unless the intimidation factor is restored.
What would they do? You know,
that's what protects
this. You know, they stopped the retirements in New York with the police. They said we can't handle. They've stopped them. So now we have police officers that have basically been drafted because they're not allowing them to. They're afraid. I mean, why? You know, listen. You know, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily afraid of getting hurt or killed. They may be, but the other thing is, these are people that have already had their time in for their pensions. If they arrest the wrong person, they'll lose the pension.
Exactly.
Because
they don't
take
any chances.
That's why they're retiring.
Why they don't defend themselves.
I know they say it's illegal, but I think that the country would support a police strike or a sick out.
I don't know what the country would. I don't know where the country.
The country's on our side.
I can't believe. Well, I don't know because I can't believe the country is.
Did you see the chief on Cavuto yesterday?
I didn't see that, but I saw him on a couple of shows.
He said to Cavuto, he said there's a silent majority out there that support the police, and they're afraid to voice that because they don't want to get clocked too, is basically what he said. I think people see this stuff and will vote for Trump, vote Republican. I think it scares people to see that.
If I had to bet, and then again, we don't know what kind of intimidation tactics they'll pull out on election day.
Well, if they do, it'll be in Democrat towns.
Well, is that supposed to make me feel better?
Well, those areas will go. Those are states that'll go Democrat anyway. That Trump's not going to win. New York, California. You're not going to see this nonsense in Florida or Ohio. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. You might see it in Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania went to Trump. But Philadelphia is another Democrat town. I think people see that and say if they will beat up the chief of police of New York City, what would they do to me? I think it scares people. I don't think there's anyone credible who's sympathetic to this. If there was an issue,
I would like to agree, but I would have never. If I came to you 2 months ago with footage of what's going on now,
yeah, I wouldn't
would you
believe.
have believed it? You would believe it.
No.
You'd say we'd never stand for it.
The most shocking thing
stand there and get beat up and not allowed to do anything.
The most shocking thing about that video is that the person's out already.
Yeah.
There were two incidents, okay? There were two people involved. There was the one who beat the chief, and then there was the one that took the stick to the lieutenant and the sergeant. One was released with no bail, one with $10,000 bail, so they got to come up with $1,000, right? I think the one that got no bail is the one that beat up the two cops with the stick. I mean, if somebody takes a stick to a New York City police lieutenant and they're out the same day without bail, why even obey the law? They figure.
Exactly. There's no deterrent.
Well, I was talking to if Barack Obama were a responsible person, he would come forward and ask Black Lives Matter to back off a little bit and tone things down. But
he hasn't even condemned it.
No.
He hasn't even made a statement.
No. No.
Well, that's why I say the world is upside down, so you can't make assumptions that you would have made in the past. You can't do that anymore. You don't know what to expect.
Yeah. All right, listen, let's take a break. When we get back, there's more to talk about. All right, I'm Brian. Steve's here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Steve Cain, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final.
The credit card, I'm going to have to take a picture. The computer and the headset I was going to buy, they sold out.
The very first time that I
the computer and headset, they sold out of them. I'm going to take a picture of the card and order it somewhere else. It's going to take me a while. Because everybody's working at home, it's hard to get computers.
Magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca Raton is an old faith
Barry Siegel.
Cemetery with tranquil surroundings.
Barry Siegel.
A place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The Gardens had caring professionals professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton dedicated
Did you hear that
to
clip
all
of Mary
those who
Trump?
lived and all those who
Let me
live
play that one
today.
again. We'll talk
Let
about
the
that.
Gardens
After
take
Barry.
care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Cain sent you.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
And here he is, my good friend and attorney, master of elder law.
Steve Cain Show.
We're talking, of course, about Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you today?
Good morning, Steve. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, getting ready for a spectacular weekend.
That sounds exciting. That's great. You've been hearing a lot in the news about, reports about COVID and how it's been picking up tremendously here, unfortunately, in South Florida. And we have been, the way our phones have been ringing and people coming in has been an indication that people are very concerned about this. And they want to just make sure that they have all of their planning in place. So, for those of you who have been thinking about it, now is a good time to go ahead and take advantage of coming in with a free consultation so we could review your situation, your family situation, your financial and estate information, your goals, and what you really need to achieve. And we go through all that and make some recommendations, and we do that all at no charge, no obligation.
Which is really nice. I mean, ordinarily, your time is, of course, time is money in business. And I don't know of anybody else that does no charge consultations. And in fact, you don't, except for Steve Cain listeners. So folks, if you're a Steve Cain listener, you be sure to mention that when you call in to make your appointment with Barry. The number toll-free 1-855-FLA, as in Florida, 3782. Once again, 1-855-FLA, 3782. Have a great weekend, Barry. We'll speak next week, all right?
All right, Steve. Enjoy your spectacular weekend.
You take care. All right, we're back.
You know, we had a big victory involving the election here in Florida in the Supreme Court yesterday, and they're not talking about it on television because they don't want to, because it's a, you know, they only put things up there that can make us look bad, you know, like they've had a victory. The Democrats are always scheming, right? And they schemed their way into getting felons the vote back in Florida in the last election, so that in this election, nonviolent felons would be able to vote. And of course, it won't be, well, why just nonviolent? Violent felons done their time. But even though...
Discrimination against the violent.
Well, even though they got felons the right to vote back, they had the Republicans got a little thing in there that they had to do first. And of course, the felons didn't want to do that, and they challenged it all the way up to the Supreme Court.
What was the...
Now, the nonviolent felons in Florida have their voting rights restored and when they repay all their fees and restitution to victims and everything else involved.
Well, that sounds reasonable to me.
Well, they didn't think so. You know, they're crooks. So they're, you know, so they went to the Supreme Court, upheld this. So that's gonna, yeah.
Do you remember the vote count?
Well, the felons hadn't voted in any election. Oh, I don't know. I don't have the count, but I don't care.
I'm talking about the Supreme Court.
I don't know, but we won it. So that will very much help us in November. We can't have all these Democrat felons voting for Biden. Sorry, Democrats. Now the DNC might start giving them money to make restitution, so they, you know, every vote counts. But that's pretty big. All right, let's go to the phone. You're on the radio. Good morning. Now, people that Graham Ledger is spectacular. He's on at 8:00 weeknights on One American News. If they put him on during the day, One American News would blow up. He's one of the best conservative talk show hosts in
Really?
America. Oh, yeah, it's very good. I retracted that statement. Last week I listened to Rush. I listened to Rush from time to time, but only a few minutes here and there. And I listened to 2 hours straight. When I was coming back from Disney World last week, and then I listened to the first hour of Hannity. No one can replace Rush.
Well, it's certainly not Hannity.
That's true. That's true. It sucks compared to Rush. But anyway. Well, you're talking about UV light. Hospitals and emergency rooms have UV lights all over the place because it kills germs and things like this. That's not some new discovery. That wasn't Graham Ledger's best, but he's very good. All right, Doug. Take care. Take care. He said he didn't know how much time he had. Now he knows, right?
Well, he was out of material.
Did you heard the clip I played earlier of Mary Trump?
Jeez. She can't even fake it.
No, lying? No, she's not very good.
No, not a good line.
Don't you love Rachel Maddow's reluctance to find out if our president's an anti-Semite?
It was an embarrassment.
Well, let's play it again. It's such an embarrassment. Let's play it. Where is it out here? Okay, this is
it's very interesting.
I have to press you.
One of the things in talk radio, part of our job is to act as a BS detector with callers, with guests, with callers. You got to be able to tell whether somebody's telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
Some people can lie. Obama was a great example. Obama was a great
Bill Clinton was
liar.
too, until we got his tell. Remember Bill Clinton's tell when he was lying?
What was his tell?
He'd nibble on his lip. Remember he would bite his lip?
Yeah.
But once you know the tell.
Lower lip.
Yeah.
With the lower lip. But
Obama's tell is when his mouth is moving.
Yeah,
that's when he's lying.
That's what they say about lawyers.
Yeah, I know.
Except for Barry Siegel.
I just took that joke and turned it in. No, but you're talking about Mary Trump lying.
And she is a horrible lie. She doesn't even play it. But listen, when we play it, they ask her this question about Donald using the dreaded N-word.
Yeah, the dreaded N-word.
And just as you listen to her answer, just ask yourself, is this a woman who's telling the truth, or is she lying through her teeth?
A stunning new accusation from President Trump's niece, Mary Trump, telling MSNBC's Rachel Maddow she's heard the president use anti-Semitic slurs and the N-word.
I can press you on it a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, she doesn't want to know if the president's an anti-Semite. She respects the presidency, and she's really reluctant to ask,
Now listen to the response.
Was an exception to that in your family, or if you ever heard him express even these anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or the racist slurs or other sentiments like that, is there anything in your family that you can't say that you ever heard from him, or did you hear from him too? Okay, yeah, of course I do.
Oh yes, of course.
I don't think that would surprise anybody given how very.
It doesn't surprise me that you say it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and she's gonna go now. This part here, she's
not even a good liar.
No, now this next part is the dramatic pause of Rachel Maddow, where she ponders in disappointment that the president is an anti-Semite. She doesn't want to, Okay, dramatic pause. She's shocked. She's shocked to learn that the president has used anti-Semitic. Not shocked enough to give an example of it, but then she goes on. Steve Cain Show.
Yeah, well.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
there's none of this.
Liar.
There's none of
this. On fire.
I'd love to hear the context of when he used these words. Oh my gosh.
It would have been fun to listen to her struggle if
Rachel cared.
Rachel had put her on the spot.
Well, Mary Trump, you're welcome on the show to tell the story of the anti-Semitic racist incidents of our president.
Get her on as a guest?
I'm doing it now. I'm calling her out.
We want to give her a fair hearing.
Okay.
We don't want to assume because she sounds like a liar that she is a liar.
Okay. Okay. You're on the radio. Good morning. Yeah.
Comey's a good liar too. Let us entertain you.
You sound like you've never heard that term before. Have you heard the term BS detector before, Chris? Oh, you've never heard BS detector. Oh, okay. Oh, you think Steve coined a new thing there. Okay. Where have you
Just
been?
came to me out of nowhere.
Yeah. Out of nowhere. What about gaydar? Have you heard of gaydar? Okay, you've heard of that one. Okay, because we've got that too.
Brian's the expert on
We've got, well, actually, we have a piece of equipment installed in the board here. Light.
It goes off. Beep, beep,
Yeah, a
beep,
pink light
beep.
bleeps when yeah, that's how the gaydar works. All right, Chris, appreciate the call. All right, take care. Oh man, no, that's pretty weak. That's pretty weak. And you know when these people come out with their books, they always lead with the best. That's the best she's got.
Do you have you done any speculation as to what Trump is going to come up with to confront all
I
these
have no
thugs?
idea what he's talking about, and he didn't give any hints.
He's really between the rock and the hard place.
What can he
because
do?
If he brings in the military and there is, let's just say, massive loss of life on the part of the thugs and the terrorists, you know what they'll do with
I
that.
think what he'll do. I think I know what he'll do. I just popped in my mind just now. But they want to defund the police, so he's going to cut off federal funding to the police in those communities. He's not going to let them take, because the federal government gives a lot of money to local police departments.
Well, I hardly think that's going to add to the peace.
No, and that's almost symbolic. You know what I mean? That's not a big enough action. But that's all I can think of that he would do.
Listen, once you take jail out of the repertoire, there's not that much left.
Well, it was interesting that the police union withdrew their endorsement of Biden. They've been with Biden forever.
Yeah.
Very tiny little story in the news. If I were a police officer in New York, I think I'd want to call in. You got to get, these guys all deserve medals to go to work every day with what's going on up there. I couldn't believe the police chief was talking. They beat the crap out of bicycle cops in New York too. I mean, gave them a massive beat down. That incident with the cops on the bridge, there were about half a dozen officers who were beaten in that incident. It wasn't just the ones we saw on TV. Those are just the ones that were caught on camera.
It's amazing that more of the good guys, the cops,
Steve Cain Show,
haven't been injured, haven't been killed. I mean, it could be a lot worse than it is now.
Oh, Richie's got an idea of what Trump may do.
Richie, what's up?
He's going to make all the local cops federal marshals. That's outside of the box.
Where did you hear that? That's pretty creative.
Oh, Steve the Caller Steve from Royal Palm. He could federalize the police.
Oh, I love that. Let's fill up the jails again.
Yeah.
Oh, but the virus, they'd be full victim to the virus.
I think they're hurting more people outside than would be hurt on inside with the virus.
I really would be disturbed if they got the virus.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing. That was the funniest line of the night. Yes. He says, we're proud to announce that our jails are almost empty and what great progress we've made. Oh. Yeah, thanks. That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Look who we have on the line, Steve. Richard Pearl from Simply Natural.
Richard Pearl from Simply Natural, the man with a plan. And if you're into getting healthy and staying healthy, Richard's the man you want to talk to, and Simply Natural, the place to go. Richard, how are you this morning?
Well, I'm great. I did a lot of research the last couple of days, and I had some breaking news.
What's that?
Confirmed with the CDC, and it was confirmed with World Health. Jeffrey Epstein did not die of murder or suicide. He died of coronavirus.
Go ahead.
Now that's forensic evidence, and it's also confirmed through DNA that the Grassy-Knoll had coronavirus in it, and it's possible that it was involved in the JFK assassination, as well as John Wilkes Booth, the Derringer that shot Lincoln, possibly had coronavirus on the bullet, and that's what's so linked.
Makes sense to me.
There's a new mutation that Joe Biden might have his brain now. It could explain the senility it's caused by the coronavirus.
Anything is possible, no question of that.
Well, the hysteria that's over this virus. I watched CNN and MSNBC this morning because I got up early, and the hysteria on this leads you to believe that everything I said is possible. The fact is that if you take supplements, you'll build your immune system, you'll stay well. By the doctor's afraid it's not a guarantee, but the likelihood is if you take supplements, which nobody talks about on television, when you come to Simply Natural or some other fine health food store, and you really take good supplements, you will get better, you will stay safe, you'll stay strong. One of the lines of the purpose that children now can pass it to adults, that was one of the news today as well. This is all fraud. You can take supplements and boost your immunity, make yourself strong, improve the terrain, make yourself fit and psychologically well at the same time.
And above all, listen to the Richard Pearl Show and drop in and talk to you because you're always available.
Well, I'm on Saturday live. I can always come home till 12 to 1. Sunday is going to be replayed. It's called Pearls of Health. And, the show is really designed to make you think and get out of your box. And it's an hour. We just have guests on Wednesday show, which is also live. And it's just a place where you can think. And if you come to the store, you'll think differently when you leave because you'll have better evidence to support less fear and more strength of thought and not be confused or manipulated by political, agenda.
All right, give him the address again and give him the phone number.
8271 Sunset Strip, Public National, 8271 Sunset Strip. Well, in the northeast corner of Sunset Strip is University Drive, next to the IHOP and the Bravo Shopping Center. The phone number is 954-741-4045. Again, 954-741-4045. Really appreciate both of you, and thanks for all of what you're doing for the community.
Richard, you take care. We'll speak next week.
Looking forward.
All right, and we'll be back after this.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Cain's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price of Friendly Tire is $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are outrageous. Free mounting and balancing, and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my
just set it down. I get a minute.
Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Cain Show on
Oh my gosh.
iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
Oh, and by the way, Friendly Tire open on Saturdays. For those that don't know, I was just reading this on Twitter. Okay, this is from the Portland Police. All right, listen to this. We have heard chants. These are new that I'm reading because things are getting hot in Portland, right? We have heard chants stating the crowd around the southeast precinct wants to enter the property and burn down the precinct. So the demonstrators in Portland.
Is that the precinct or is that the federal building?
The precinct, the police precinct, the Portland Police Precinct. You are subject to arrest and use of force, including crowd control munitions, if you enter the property. Do not shine lights into officers' eyes. This is all on Twitter.
They're using those green lights that make you blind.
Yeah. We've also heard requests for additional reinforcements. If you are a peaceful protester, we are asking you to leave. Oh my goodness, Portland's really heat. I thought it was being toned down.
You know, Richie, I think is onto something. That makes perfect sense. If he federalizes all the local police, then it would become.
Is that legal?
Well, why not? I think he can do it with an executive order. And at that point, anybody that attacks the local police is attacking a federal officer, and they're definitely going to be able to put him in jail for that.
Yeah. Well,
if that's not what it is, it's what it should be.
I think when you look at these incidents that happen in New York, they're targeting police like this. Isn't that a hate crime? They're targeting them because of who they are, what they are in their group. I don't know how they get out with no bail, but I thought things in Portland were cooling off, not heating up.
No, they're not cooling off anywhere. It's every night now, and then they're not televising as much of it, so it may seem there's a little less.
See,
but
the tone
tonight should be a big night. Tonight's the beginning of the weekend.
Yeah, the tone of the country.
They broke every record last week without.
What record? What was the record they broke?
The for arrests.
Oh, yeah.
And for violence. Even though the Friday there was a massive storm up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
That I thought was going to cool things off for a while. It's hard to riot
in the rain.
In a tropical storm, but it didn't slow them down. They set all new records.
Well, Harris Faulkner's town hall though, that'll settle it all. Oh. Steve Cain Show.
Harris Faulkner is a beautiful woman.
Yeah, I heard an interview with her and her when I heard an interview with her by I think it was Dan. I'm not sure. I can't remember who interviewed. I don't want to say it was Bongino. It may not have been Bongino. She is so full of herself. She told a story. And I thought, what an egomaniac. I don't like her. When I heard what she's really like as opposed to what she's like when she's hosting the story, she talked about how she had to drop some people from being friends because they were dropping her name to get good tables in restaurants and things like that. I mean, she's very full of herself. I don't like Harris Faulkner too much. I'm not a big fan of hers.
Hannity-ish?
Yeah, and she's very full of herself. I mean, obviously she's a well-known person, but are people dropping her name to get a table in liberal New York City? I don't know. You're on the radio. Good morning. Oh, Tibet, you got to speak up, Tibet. Use that Jaguar Bluetooth speaker a little bit better.
There you are.
Steve Cain Show. How would you know?
Right. Hold on, hold on. Let me just get this straight in my head. I'm taking notes here. You're comparing the Holocaust, where 8 million Jews were killed, to this phony reparations deal, where people come in and claim that their ancestors were slaves, even though they can't prove it, that they want you to write them a check. That's what you're comparing to the Holocaust? Well, you just did. You compared it to the Holocaust.
Tibet, you have received your restitution. I mean, let me explain to you how. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Okay. Now, how long have you been listening to the show this morning? Oh my God, he can't even answer that. I'm not going to try to walk him down a garden path because everything with him is, first of all, he changes the subject. At the beginning of this hour began by me telling Steve this fantastic story of Champagne Automotive Repair. Did you hear that commercial? You were talking about that? What did I do? This is how I want to tell you how you've gotten restitution. Okay, you don't know. Okay, you don't want to say. I have a 17-year-old car with 180,000 miles on it, my Ford Explorer that they repaired and have running like new. What are you calling me from right now? I have a 17-year-old Ford Explorer, 180,000 miles. What do you drive? Everyone knows what you drive, Tibet. What do you drive?
Let him say it.
You won't cut off. What do you drive? I drive a 17-year-old car with 180,000 miles. What are you driving? That does matter. You want reparations. You're driving a Jaguar. Okay? Sounds like you have gotten your restitution.
It sounds like you owe Brian
exactly.
restitution.
Why am I driving a 17-year-old? Where's the white privilege that I'm experiencing?
We heard what you're saying.
You don't want to have a conversation. You want reparations. Why should I? You're better off than me.
Oh, whoa, hold on a minute. That can't be. You are black, right?
He'll deny that.
Are you black, Tibet? Are you black? Are you black?
You're not white.
Are you black? Answer the question.
Are your ancestors from Africa? Oh, he's not.
Dr. who?
Dr. Gupta.
I didn't call you anything. I asked you. I asked you.
Do you feel that's an insult? Is it an insult to be black? Why are you getting upset?
Why would you be defensive?
Why did you call me black?
Why would you deny your heritage? Especially since it's your ticket to the promised land.
You gotta have two Jags. Oh, really? Oh.
No. Black is the color of my true love's hair. Have a little stand up for your heritage. Be a man. Say I'm a black man and I'm proud of it. I want to hear you. This is terrible. It's terrible. They've destroyed your self-esteem. They've destroyed your self-esteem. Say I'm black and I'm proud. Can you say that? Can you say that?
Tibet, if you want your reparations, you're going to have to say that you're black. You understand that, right? No, if you're not black, no reparations.
Who? Harold Rosendahl? Why did you share it with me? I never heard it. I don't know who he is.
Is this Nick Cannon on the line?
Yes, he was a senator from New York. What about him?
Why don't you share it with us now?
Stand up, be black, be proud. Say I'm proud of my heritage.
Well, unfortunately for you, we have to run for the gold report, but
unfortunately, he's not proud of his heritage.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, more important than this is, of course, the gold report,
which we'll get to after the break.
And we'll be right back.
Yeah.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two. We got a good.
Hold on.
Stores, one Deerfield and Beach.
Hold on.
We can set up a good plug.
Hold on, just wait. I gotta get Youngerman. So hard to.
You have my thing.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna call. He's gonna call us right back. He's gonna call right back.
Variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two. Yeti Cooler,
Steve Cain Show.
Craftsman Hand Tools, Milwaukee Hand Tools,
Steve Cain Show.
Power Equipment.
Yeah, gotcha. Great. Hold on. All right, got him.
Grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of green egg products, all under one roof. All the people that are experienced can show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve.
He's got a handout. He's driving a Jaguar. Got a hand. I'm driving a 20-year-old car. My car's as old as my kid almost.
Located at 232 I'm going to do one
Youngerman.
Okay.
Okay.
Very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Cain sent you.
All right.
All right, it is that time. Each day on the Steve Cain Show, we bring you the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, of course, advising clients on trends and movements in the gold market for over 50 years. He is one of the most knowledgeable professionals in the field, and we are so privileged to have him each day on the Steve Cain Show. William, how's it looking?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
Excellent.
A lot of Cain listeners coming in and taking advantage of the little difference we got down $14.50 yesterday.
All right.
Just below the $1,800 number, 1796. In fact, for the last few days, we've had people lined up out our doors. So we asked that be patient. We will take care of everybody, and we have plenty of website in stock for immediate delivery. But just be sociable. Thank you again. Gold yesterday, as I said, down $14.50, closing at 1796. Silver was down 36 cents at $19.08 a ounce. Platinum was down $11 at $815. And palladium was down up $13 at $19.36. This morning we got metal break down, and like I said, you got to take advantage. This is a short list, but they do give us an opportunity. Sometimes if you're a regular customer of ours, if you see that dip take place, call lock in the price and get your metal.
Yep.
Take advantage of it. Get gold up $11 right now at $1,887 an ounce. Silver up 17 cents at $19.25. Platinum up $10 at $8.25, and palladium up $31 at $1,967. So again, take advantage of any dip, but
Steve Cain Show. Hey.
All right, and you can. I may be dropping by this morning after the show, William. It's a complete purchase that I made, and good day to stop by. William Youngerman for everybody, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's the Bank of America building. You'll find William on the first floor directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone toll free 1-800-327-5010, or go to the website WilliamYoungerman.com. William, have a great day. I'll probably see you later this morning.
Okay, have a great day.
You take care, and we are back.
Oh boy.
Yeah, poor, what's his name? Tibbet?
Tibbet.
He's got a complex. He really is. He should be proud of who he is, for crying
Now,
out loud.
a Jaguar owner?
Yeah,
Not African American. Yeah.
It's like he's got a complex.
Yeah.
We got to work with him, try to build his self-esteem.
You know, he's a very good caller. He's been calling us the last month or so. And I think one day he's gonna be on the Trump train. You want to take some calls?
Let's do it.
All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. Hey, Ray.
Ray, how you doing? Oh, I mean.
Who are you, Charlie?
That's what Richie said. I think it's a good idea. Unfortunately, it's not yours, it's Richie's. But
All right, hey, Ray, take care. Take care. Appreciate the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I know
this one won't be the best.
This one is not.
Let me ask you, pick the part of his call that you would consider to be the best that makes it the best call of the week.
You can support the argument.
Yeah.
Right.
A 17-year-old car with 180,000 miles on it, yeah. So? You were right, Steve. You were right. You know what I think he's doing? You know what I think you're doing, Al? I think you're trying to make Tibit's call sound like the best call of the week by having your call so poor. I mean, this is. Are you okay?
This is weak.
Have you been taking NyQuil or something?
Are you okay?
I want to point out to the audience. You hear the panic in his voice because What panic? What do you mean? I'm panicked. He thought the call was about to end, and he's immediately jumping in,
he was right
trying to Yeah, my hand was right there by the button. All right, go one more time. One more time. It is.
In closing. All right, okay, thank you.
You notice all the liberal haters use all the sponsors. Isn't that great? Tibit, Al.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, man. Lord. I saw Tibit at Friendly Tire. He has a very nice Jag. But I was down at South Beach on Saturday, Steve, and I couldn't believe how many 20-something aged African-American men were driving around in cars that cost more than some people's houses I know. I don't know what all this talk is about racial injustice. I couldn't believe the cars I saw. I saw this one guy. He was about 25 years old. He valeted his car. He got out, Steve, he whipped out the biggest wad of cash I've ever seen in my life, and it was not $1 bills. So I don't know where all this injustice is unless it's coming my way. But this has been a good week. The show's been pretty hot this week.
Well, it's hard with the country burning down. It's hard not to have plenty of material.
The only parts that are burning down are the liberal parts.
This is true. It's true, but it's small comfort. I'll be so glad when... I bet you that's exactly what Trump is going to do.
What?
He'll federalize the local police. And that'll take care of the problem of keeping people in jail. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
Because they're not having any trouble finding these guys or arresting them. They're having trouble keeping them in jail.
If
they put it in the federal system.
The main problem in the country isn't Portland, it's New York. Because New York, what happens in New York, it picks up everywhere else because that's the big city. And de Blasio's the problem. De Blasio really should be removed from office. I don't know what process would be involved in that.
They need, what's his name's cooperation.
Fredo's brother? Fredo's brother?
Governor.
Yeah, Andrew Cuomo. Yeah. The Andrew Cuomo, did you see him go on Jimmy Fallon the other night?
No.
Oh, this was so embarrassing. He's single. So he went on Jimmy Fallon.
Which means divorced.
Oh, yeah. He went on Jimmy Fallon trolling for women. It was, and you've got this financial crisis and health crisis and a crime wave going on in his state like we've never seen before. And he goes on Jimmy Fallon looking to hook up. It was really disgusting. Really disgusting. It's amazing that Republicans ever get elected. Democrats have complete free reign and immunity from public shame for anything they do. It's like a license to kill.
Yeah, it's true. It's disheartening.
New York,
Disheartening.
New York's scary. Dan Bongino says it's Snake Plissken's New York now.
Yeah. Escape from New York.
Yeah, who's the Duke? I don't know. But anyway, we're all out of time.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will head home and
yes,
settle in front of the television to watch the Weekend of Riots.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back to process it all come Monday morning. All right?
Okay.
So on behalf of Brian Craig, I'm Steve Cain. Until Monday, God bless America.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days.
All right, guys, take care. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, all right?